Hey, this is Jerry Davis.
Hey, Joe Shelton here.
And we are the band Bruhz. We are back again. Excited to be here. Check us out. Hit us up. Like the pages. Like everything. Just like everything that we do.
Like and join it and click and subscribe to all of that.
Exactly. So we're going to jump right in today. Joe, how you feeling today?
Man, everything's good, man. Well, you just slow motion.
Yeah, man. I want to jump into this thing about bands, just marching bands. And I know we talked a lot about this show will be kind of all over the place, but still with some uniformity with talking about bands, talking about music, talking about live people that are doing their own music. But today I just want to talk about bands and what makes a good band a good band. Like, why do people say FAMU's the best, or why is Southern considered the best, or TSU?
Okay.
All
right.
What are the reasonings behind someone saying a good band? Because there's so many different factors that go into being a good band without being biased.
Right. That's key.
Yeah. So I want to know, and I know we can't have anybody call in directly, but as you all hear this segment, and we'll actually even talk about it again, we really want you to chime in on this and leave questions and comments on why you think a band is considered good.
Yeah, man. I think, and I think the hard part for a lot of people, man, they just don't understand. You have to leave the bias out of it, Yeah, if you from Nashville, you sing Tennessee State 100,000 times
from birth.
From birth, and you're gonna lean heavy towards TSU or wherever you're from. But let's try to come up with a template to a good band, and good equals to great and to the best, So let's come up with some non-biased templates that you think. So Jerry, what's one of the first things you think about when you think about what a good band, based on your experience being in the band and what you've seen working on this side? What's one thing you think of that describes a good band?
Well, with me having a physical fitness background, I'm always looking for like the showmanship and the marching. And not even necessarily the marching style, but I mean really marching, picking up your feet, knees, seeing those spats and all that, just the flash, the horn swing, the capes moving. That for me will get it if you're not playing a note, you know what I mean? So I want to see serious knees up. I want to see a lot of energy. I want to see the kids sweating when they come off the field, and I just don't see that anymore. So for me, that's probably number one outside of music, but that would be number one for me. I need to see some energy.
Marching, okay, so marching band. Marching is the key word in marching band. So, yeah, man, I think a lot of that, like you said, man, I just think the youth today are not as in shape as compared to 20, 30 years ago, because of social media and PlayStation 4s, and so they're not just naturally as active. So I think when freshmen coming into a freshman band or to a band program, they have to really work harder to get in shape. And so so marching is key. And I guess you could put with the marching is the you said a little bit, the drill design, the concept of the drill. And because all that goes hand in hand. If you're not marching, your drill's not gonna look crisp. Your line's not gonna be straight.
Yeah, the letters don't come out. What are they spelling? What are they doing?
Right.
What's the concept?
So marching, that's a good one. So for me, I'm gonna say music.
Okay.
And music, and this it's gotten so broad today that it's. The cranking and the loud thing, man, is like the in thing today.
Yeah.
And everybody wants and the sad thing is if you're not playing like that, if you don't see blood coming through the bell of the horn, if you don't see the lacquer peeling off the horn,
or your lips split and busted,
and you don't see veins in your forehead while you're playing, you're not eating. You ain't eating, you ain't playing, you ain't cranking.
Yeah.
So,
my thing with that has always been, I got a chance to witness, I guess 3 times now, seeing Earth, Wind & Fire in concert live, and not one trombone player, not one trumpet player. I never saw their shoulders raise up like they were standing across from me in some bleachers. Not one time. Now, I know they're mic'd up and everything, but not one time did I see that. So if Earth, Wind, and Fire is not cranking on folks, I don't get it, man. And call me old school. I mean, you can play loud.
Yeah, you can play with some aggression.
Exactly.
You can play some intensity.
But when your eyes are literally coming out of your head like with little strings on them, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Come on, for real. So
keep your eyeballs in your eye sockets.
Right. So, and a lot of kids are leaning toward what that justifies you being a good band because y'all just the loudest.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's easy. And man, you know. And like you say, it's funny you mentioned Earth, Wind, and Fire because, you know, that was music of our youth and our parents, you know, and, you know, you had real musicians. But, you know, think of the music now.
Yeah.
Think of the music that's out now. You know, it's not really composed by musicians as we know them back in the day. So there's not really any live instruments. Everything is just done in front of a computer and digitally. So when a band, you're trying to transfer those digital sounds and stuff off into a band. So it's a lot of times bands have to sort of overcompensate the music aspect and to make the song sound like something. So the only way we make this little 8-bar rap tune sound like something is just to play it loud.
Real loud, yeah. Because
there's no really musical structure to it, but we just got to play it loud to make it sound like something.
Yeah. That makes sense. I never thought about it like that. Just overcompensate the lack of music just by playing it loud, like, whoa, getting that response.
Yeah, getting the oohs and the ahs and all that type stuff, man. So, you know, for me, music, man, I mean, and music has to be, for any band, music has to be the number one thing that you sort of, you know, because it's how about how you sound. So if everybody's just standing there and you just playing because that's at the end of the day, that's the basis of the band.
Right.
Is how you sound, your musical arrangements, you know, your arranging staff, and how well they write for the group that they have in front of them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, you know, man, it's another trend. You know, somebody might take an arrangement that Saginaw State University did for their program, and then they take that same exact arrangement and play it for Chitlin High School, and you can't, you know, sometimes you have to arrange for your group. Right. You have to arrange for your band. And that's why a lot of times a lot of bands are starting to sound the same.
Yeah. And I had that same bias growing up because I grew up here in Nashville, being around TSU. My parents were in the band, and everybody else was just sorry. I didn't have another word other than y'all sorry.
Yep.
It's not necessarily that other bands were sorry. I felt so compelled and you know, what is the word I'm looking for? Just to, that's like a football team. Yep. You know, you got diehard Brown fans. You know, they ain't won a game in forever. Dallas Cowboy fans. You know, I'm gonna stick with them regardless of the Patriots being great. I'm never gonna say the Patriots are great. Same thing with FAMU. You know, I want to make sure if I see them, oh man, y'all were terrible. Y'all wasn't terrible. Y'all actually were pretty good. Yeah. But I've just been raised like that, where all you know is TSU, TSU. Is TSU great? Absolutely. But there are some other great bands. So I've always thought that it was just a matter of opinion. But just to call another band sorry because we didn't grow up in Jackson, or we didn't grow up in Tallahassee, or we didn't grow up in Baton Rouge, you know, I think it's a little unfair. So
yeah, man,
we're trying to change the mindsets now.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, look, like I said, I don't talk band with too many people. It's about 3 or 4 people that I haven't had band discussions with, because if you can't come with me with some logical, some sensible adult arguments, that, you know, you can't talk music, you can't talk arrangements, you can't talk you know, stylistic, traditional type stuff, man, then there's really nothing, you know.
There's nothing to talk about.
There's nothing to talk about, because, you know, you just going to say, oh, man, they eating. They loud, they cranking. They eating, they loud, they cranking. That's all people say.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What does that mean, really?
Yeah. So we've got to do our due diligence and teach the new kids what to listen for.
Yep.
You know, what does eating mean? You can't compare some of these things like a rap battle or someone playing basketball and crossing over, or a linebacker hitting somebody. Band,
right.
It's got to be a totally, like, so the old rules got to be thrown out and make some really good sound decisions on what does it mean to be a good band.
Yeah, and man, I got a good analogy. You said that, man. I'm thinking about Mike Tyson was a great boxer. Sugar Ray Leonard was a great boxer. Who was better? So that's what people are doing now. You're trying to compare Mike Tyson with the Sugar Ray Leonard when they were two weight classifications and two different styles of boxers, you know?
Yeah.
And so if you trying to compare Sugar Ray Leonard to what Mike Tyson did, that's like a no, you're not going to win that, you know, that argument. Or if you're trying to compare Mike Tyson to what Sugar Ray, and it's, you know, but the trend is that Mike Tyson was trying to knock you out in the first round.
From the dressing room.
He was trying to end the fight in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You have some bands that want to end the whole battle in the first measure. They're going to play like the eyes popping out. They're going to do all this stuff to end the battle in the first beat or the first four measures of the song. Where you have some bands that are going to be, hey, look, we're gonna out musician. We're gonna outplay you. We're gonna out song selection. We're gonna do more. We're gonna go 12 rounds. We're not trying to knock you out in the first round.
Right. And you know what? A couple years ago, we didn't go last year. And I say we, TSU, didn't go to the Queen City battle down in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right.
And normally that's kind of a warm up for all the bands. It's a good competition. I think this would have been our third year, but year before last when we went, which I think was our second year, I was really impressed with Norfolk State.
Oh, man, yeah.
Man, I'm talking about, I was hearing some notes that them trumpet players were playing. I don't think I've ever even heard of while marching. You know what I mean? So as an adult, I got a whole different, newfound respect for just bands that I haven't heard. I'm not familiar with a lot of bands on the East Coast, but immediately I said, let me go Google them, and let me start Googling a lot of these bands I haven't seen. I just can't say they're terrible bands because I've never seen them, or they're small, or whatever the case may be. So it's just opened me up to just thinking differently about judging bands. You know? So I'm hoping we can do the same thing and change some of those perceptions.
Yeah, man. So look, young people, old people, whatever. When you know, and that's the end thing. Everybody getting on YouTube and they're leaving their comments, and they're making these things and this and that. Hey, look, if you can't make a rational argument about, you know, everybody has their opinion, what they think, but put a little rationale behind why you say what you say.
Exactly.
You know, and just don't be, get out there and just saying, oh, they're terrible, they suck, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Nah, man, we gotta let's elevate our opinions
and our minds
in 2019.
Exactly. I'm right behind you, Joe, as far as music. Definitely music for me is first, but just the first thing that stands out is the marching. I'm also big on the discipline.
Right.
You know, what the band is doing in the stands, what they're doing walking out to the field, what they're doing walking from, all those little things for me are really big things. You know, I like to see the band chanting together. I like to see them playing, the horns coming up, no one overblowing. I mean, all of that for me, the discipline from the time they get off the bus to the time they get back on, that's when the show starts, when you get off that bus. So those three things, just your, I guess the playing, the actual, the marching,
drilling,
and the discipline. That's it for me.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Man, I forget which band director. I don't know if it was Mr. Morton Jr. or I forgot, but he said, man, you could tell how good a band is simply how well they stand in attention.
Yep.
Or how you could tell how good a band is when they're getting off the bus. How are they acting when they get off the bus?
Yep.
Like you said, walking to the field or walking to the stadium, whatever. Those are the things you can tell if that group has discipline in just those little small things right there.
It's kind of like the old analogy, looking at the person in the club, the quietest guy. That's the one you want to watch out for. But the guy making all the noise and loud, like, oh, this clown dude. But the one that's quiet over there in the corner ain't saying nothing, like, That's who I need to pay attention to.
Pay attention to him.
Man, he's a legend, the greatest of all time. Nashville legend. Band Bruhz presents the Legend Series.
Man, I'm excited about this segment coming up here, man. We call this our Legend Series, where we're going to start talking to some of the legendary band directors of the Nashville, Davis County area.
Yeah.
And I'm looking very forward to this. He'll be our first official interview.
Okay.
And without further ado, we would like to introduce the Band Bruhz, Mr. John Sevier.
Hey.
Say what's up to the Band Bruhz.
What's up, Band Bruhz?
All right.
All right, as we said before, man, this is sort of a segment, man. We want to take a time and let everybody know about, a lot of people think the band scene just sort of came on the scene here within the last few years, but we want to give a shout out to some of the legends in the area and give us your perspective, the band scene today, then, how you got started, all those good things. So we're going to jump right in. So just give us a little background information. Tell us where you're from and city from and any information like that.
Yeah, I'm born and raised here, right here in Nashville, Tennessee, North Nashville, 27th Avenue over there. Grew up in the Metro school system. Okay. Went to Fort Greene, Washington, Pearl High, graduated Pearl High School.
Oh, man, you North Nashville all the way.
All the way, baby.
Yeah.
From, in 1976, and then from Pearl to TSU.
Okay.
Couldn't beat it.
Yes, sir. But then tell us about how old or what grade did you start to have interest in music or band?
Yeah.
Well, musically, my mom, of course, was a music teacher. She taught school for 40 years, maybe.
Okay. Wow, okay.
And, of course, music was always in the house. She was the organist at church and things of that nature. And so it was natural.
Yeah.
It was natural.
Yeah.
We started back in those days in the 4th or 5th grade. And I think I started on trumpet in the 5th grade at Fort Greene. And I've been playing ever since.
Okay. And so, starting on trumpet, man, how, you've been an educator, you taught here just recently retired. What was what was it like joining band in that time? What was, you can talk about we always talk about quality of instruments and the band directors and the band scene and the parents' report. What was it like joining band? And I guess that was what?
65, 66, something around in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, band was exciting to us. It opened doors for a lot of us in the neighborhood. I mean, it was actually probably the first thing that we were a part of.
Yeah.
Growing up, there wasn't much in North Nashville then. And then for us to see the Don Q pulling bands and things of that nature, Washington Junior High, and to grow up with that in the neighborhood, it was a motivational factor for us. And so it was probably about 13, 14 of us that all joined at the same time.
Wow.
In the 5th and 6th grade. And we was a close-knit group because we later became the North Soul Band.
Okay.
Which was one of the major concerts, combo bands growing up in Nashville at the time in the early 70s. We did many gigs. We all switched from that trumpet, trombone, saxophone, drums to I went to keyboards. One another trumpet player went to bass.
Okay. Yeah.
So we branched out into other instruments and we began to gig and things of that nature. So it opened up those doors. So music has been and will always be a part of my life. I'm still playing somewhere every Sunday.
Yeah. That's awesome. You actually answered one of my questions. Was it cool to be in the band then, as a middle school or in high school? Because we run into that now. I'm sure you run into that when you were band director here. I know Joe does. But was it cool to be in the band at that time?
Yeah. I mean, you were either in the band or you played sports. Yeah. I mean, it was one or the other. I mean, you had to do something.
Yeah.
Everybody, of course, couldn't be the star quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of us chose band because, I mean, we liked music.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and then once we got into band and with the people that was leading us, the band directors, they kept us motivated, they kept us challenged, kept us engaged. And like I said, it helped us branch out into other things. So it was, it was very important to us at the time. So, I mean, I would say today, in today's time, it's a hard sell.
Yeah.
You got to sell.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you have to sell band,
So it sounds like you had some instructors and some influential people in your life that really pushed you, maybe your middle school band director or high school band director. Talk about them as you progressed on and eventually went on to TSU.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my elementary band director was Chris Gale. Mr. Gale.
Mr. Gale.
Yeah, Mr. Gale, Mr.
The
Chris
Mr. Gale was he at White's Creek?
The
Mr. Gale.
Wow.
That was my elementary band director.
Okay, that was one of my high school band directors.
Yep, that was Chris Gale,
Okay.
right? And Mr. Gale, and then I went from him. And then at junior high school, Washington, we had a guy, he was so important, I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But he was unfortunately, he was a white guy that they put there.
Okay.
And I went from Fort Greene to Washington for a year, and then to West End, where we had Mr. Bain was a great guy, white guy.
Okay.
Mr. Bain, man.
Mr. Bain was my middle school. That's where I got started at West End. Mr. Bain, D.F. Bain.
D.F. Bain, that was him, boy. He was something. We sounded great during those days. We had a full band.
Yeah.
Every instrument.
Yeah.
French horn. That's when he switched me to French horn.
Okay.
So I went from trumpet to French horn and then in high school to baritone. Well, of course, that's where I majored on in college at TSU.
So how was that jump? Me and Joe talk a lot about this on our show, getting parents motivated or getting them positioned to make sure that their child from high school to college, making sure that on that instrument that they are prepared. Did you feel prepared leaving high school, going to TSU?
No, I mean, and then the auditioning requests were a little different then.
Okay.
Than what they are now. Now, we had to know scales, but we didn't necessarily have to have a prepared piece.
Okay.
But we did have to know our scales.
Okay.
So, of course, I knew scales anyway. Like I said, I had been playing piano, took piano lessons, so the scales and things came with piano lessons and things like that, which I was taking piano lessons at TSU every Saturday.
Okay.
Mr. Lusk, Lord Lusk.
I know Mr. Lusk.
Yep.
I know Mr. Lusk. Yeah, I know Mr. Lusk.
He taught me piano every Saturday.
Yeah.
During football season, I watched Marge Brown practice in the band room there. And
Wow.
Grambling.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
man, whoever was in town, Texas Southern, Jackson State.
See, we've gotten away from visiting bands.
Yeah.
Coming over into the band room. That would be. I can assume that was like awesome.
Man, it was great, boys. Watching them line up to march over to Hill Stadium.
Yeah.
On a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
They didn't play many night games back in my day.
Okay.
It was an all-day game, such about at Hill Stadium.
So since you sort of transitioned us into the times of TSU, so we talked about audition. So what was it like being in the band at at Tennessee State University, and I guess you said early 70s?
1976, I was a freshman.
76, okay.
Yep. It was about 40 of us that year. 1976, man, we were crabs.
Yeah.
So you was under the direction of Prof. Watkins?
Prof. Watkins, Clifford Watkins.
Clifford
Yep.
Watkins, okay.
I mean, it was that freshman year, we play, they say you don't pledge and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But different times.
Yeah, different times.
Different time, man. Okay.
We pledged the band that year on Baby Tiger Night, Aristocrat Night. And
Oh, man.
Hold on. So, hold on. So we had a Baby Tiger Night.
we had Baby Tiger Night. Man.
Yeah.
Woo, we had to get from the basement to the upstairs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we may have to edit this part out.
Because, like I said, it was different times. So
Yeah,
it
different
was,
times. I think we're safe, man. You know, we're talking
Different
40,
times.
50 years ago, different times.
Yeah.
So Baby Tiger Night. Then
Baby
you had
Tiger Night, then Aristocrat Band Night.
Aristocrat Band Night.
And then, of course, that's when you finally got your shirt and things of that nature. Okay. So, I mean, it was the whole football season of pledging the band, basically.
Okay.
Wow.
But I wouldn't get that off anything in the world. It was the greatest time of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed every moment in that band, the travel, the crab bus, and
the experiences and the friendships.
Friendships, man, lifelong friendships. We still talk to some of those guys. I was able to hone my skills during that time at TSU. I mean, without TSU, I wouldn't be where I'm at now, to be truthful. I mean, that's the backbone of my education and my experiences. My music life was honed and developed at Tennessee State University.
Yeah, so let's say junior, senior year at TSU, when did you start thinking about, okay, at some point I can't march in the band forever. There's got to be some an actual professional or a job or career after this. What made you say, I think I want to be a band director, or did the band director come a little later?
Well, I always knew once I got to TSU that I was a music major. There was no doubt I was majoring in music. Freshman year in the band, I arranged for the band the dance routine music for the FAMU show.
Okay.
That's
big.
That was big. It was big time, big deal, big. They played my music for FAMU at FAMU.
Okay.
Me and a couple other guys, freshmen, that was the first time we had ever arranged anything. So I knew at that point that this is what I was going to do. By the time I became my second senior year, I knew I had to concentrate on graduating.
Yeah.
So I think I stopped marching in the midway through the fall of '80.
Okay.
And I concentrated at that point on getting out of school.
Getting on out of school. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you start off in Metro once you left?
No, I started off as I've always worked at Whites Creek with Churchwell.
Okay.
From '79 until about '90, I had always done his band camps.
Okay.
Wrote music for him. Did the drill for him.
Whites Creek opened in '78 or '79.
'78, I believe.
'78. Okay. So you
I
started with him over
I
there.
basically started with Churchwell at Whites Creek. I was still in school, but I came back every summer once I left to go to Columbus.
Okay.
I came back every summer, did his band camp, worked with him, Mr. Gale, Michael Braden.
Yeah.
We all was in there together during band camp. And, so it was, like I said, it was just a part of my life, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed band, loved band, still do.
So actually, just that early family influence kind of had bit you early. And
It did. I mean, like I said, my mom was a teacher for 40-some years. She played at the church for 52 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yep. So, I mean, it was, like I said, I'm playing at church now. I'm organist at church and
So still at it, huh?
still at it, man.
Yeah.
Still doing it.
And I would say a musician career can go a lot longer than someone playing football or basketball, because you can get paid up to the end.
To the end, if you're lucky.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of, hopefully we can start influencing some of these kids. Like, hey, everybody's not going to be a Steph Curry. Everybody's not going to be, a Tom Brady. But there are so many opportunities with the instrument. Now, I mean, and all of us, we can go on and on about that. Just so many opportunities. So me and Joe talk about this a lot. Just how do we make the related arts cool again, or trying to make sure that students know that, hey, if you're not going to be able to do this, at least give it a shot, give it a try, you know, and to have, you know, a 50-piece band, but you got 150 kids walking around that could possibly play a trumpet or a saxophone just because, and they don't because of, you know, the peers and influence and things like that. So, you know.
Yeah, that's a hard sell in today's time. You know, kids are looking for what they can grasp fast and make money quick.
Yeah.
And then everything is not as rewarding as it could be. Band now, if I was recruiting, I would be just like I was talking to Joe earlier, you have to sell band. It has to be visual. It has to be just as important to the school as the football teams.
Yeah.
And that starts a lot of times with the administrating administrators, their input into how important it is.
Yeah, and selling it to them as well.
Selling it to them, making sure they understand that, you know, there's other things in the building besides the football team.
Yeah, see, I think that's sort of a double sword right there, what you said, because you said with football, you know, that reward, sometimes with music and a musician, you don't get the rewards right up front, like you said a minute ago. And I think why so many schools, they, you know, on the sports, you know, at the end of the day, when that game is over, there's a winner, there's a loser. You got people coming to the stadium. So if you got a good football, basketball, you got people coming in to buy tickets. So there's a monetary value in having a good sport team. Whereas if you have a good band, you know, there's no cut end of dry or who's good, and there's really no money to be made. So I think a lot of times administrators and stuff, you know, that's why unwillingly, knowingly that they put a lot of emphasis on those sports things. And of course, you know, like you said, kids coming to, you go ask any ninth grader boy that comes into any school across the country what you want to be when you grow up. They're going to say football and basketball or something like that. But as far as the music, it goes back what you said, you got to sell it. You got to find those people and sell it and sell it over and over and over again.
Or have some early influence. Because y'all both can talk about having some stellar students come through the years and like, man, this guy or this girl could probably go on and play professionally or probably are playing professionally. And like you said, you can make money forever. They can't take your fingers and your mouth away from you. You know what I mean? It's there. You know?
Yeah, but I would add to that there was a period of time when I was at Pearlcon, I was at Bannerett at Pearlcon, that I had a principal. She knew the importance of band.
Okay.
She knew that also part of that gate was people coming to see the band.
That's right. That's right.
So she did everything in her power to assist, to make sure I had everything I needed. Great lady.
Hold on, back up a minute. So you said, so people do come to football games to see the band?
Of course.
So a lot of times, I just want to make sure, you know, make sure that's clear. So not everybody that comes to a football game is coming to see the football team. There are some people that are coming to see the bands, right?
And we'll leave after the band.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understood that. Yeah.
You know, it was a survey that was taken out, I believe, in 2008. What are some of the main attractions at the high school bands, high school football games? And hey, you know, Pearlcon Band was number one on the list.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I mean that was true to form. I mean, that was always a time where, like I said, we knew that, and I hate to say it, that we started demanding, hey, y'all got to give us something back.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't keep it all for football. I mean,
especially know your worth. You know
right.
what I mean?
And you know your importance to the school and to the program and to the community.
Yeah.
And what would happen if you didn't show up and y'all played a Maplewood or White Creek?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
And one of the worst things that probably could have happened was that we no longer play those schools.
Yeah.
Pearlcon no longer, you know, play White Creek. I don't even think they played Maplewood this past year.
No, we haven't played Maplewood in the last couple of years. I hear we may play this year. I'm not quite certain, but that's crazy.
Those was the games that you could sell to your kids.
Yeah.
You know, hey, who's the best? You know, that kind of thing. That was the rivalry that, you know, that in band. was just as important as it was in football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or basketball.
And one thing I can really say unique about Pearl Cone, because I went there, I graduated there from '89, and it's probably one of the only schools when you think of the demographics of where the school sits in the community. Pearl Cone sits right in the middle of the community. Like there's a neighborhood surrounding the school, and it was really truly in
the neighborhood.
Right. So when you had band practice, there was always little kids standing around on the sidewalk watching the band, or, people on the fence on the outside.
And that's motivating them, like
Right.
I want to be in the band when I grow up, because I'm looking at these guys looking like gods, right now. Yeah.
That's how I got started. Like I said, Washington Junior High would march down Herman Street during Christmas, preparing for the Christmas parade. And I would be leaving Fort Greene right there. And there they were.
So for those people who don't know, Washington High School sat right there. I guess what people know, if you know the baseball field with Pearl Cone, the hill, that's where Washington High School sat.
Yep.
And I think those columns that are in front of Pearl Cone are from the old Washington High building.
And the columns that are inside of Pearl Cone, that's for Fort Greene.
Fort Greene.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah.
They were there originally at Fort Greene.
Okay.
Right.
Well, man, look, this is the part, the Legend series. This is what we wanted to give some information out to people, and we really appreciate Mr. Sevier coming in and speaking with us and sharing some time. So, if you like this, please log on to Band Bruhz. We have a YouTube page, Band Bruhz, Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter. Snapchat is coming up soon, so search us up, Band Bruhz, BANDBRUHZ.
Yeah. And he actually has on purple today, y'all, too. So we just want to make sure we threw that in.
My dirty shirt.
Yeah.
Well, it's always been a pleasure. Definitely come back, if you want to. We'd love to have you back.
Yes, sir.
So this is something we're doing,
I'm glad to do this, man. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yep.
Save a dime, save a dollar. Band on the budget. Brought to you by Band Bruhz.
Hey, one way you can save money for your program is looking into getting to the t-shirt printing portion of that. There are several ways you can make t-shirts. You can look into screen printing. You can look to heat transfers. There are certain vinyl cutting type machines that you look into. But look into one of those forms of t-shirt printing or making. Screen printing in the end will be your most cost effective, but screen printing, there's a lot of things that go into setting up, and there's a lot of equipment that you need to get into screen printing. So it might be a little expensive on the front end, but at the end, once you've learned the techniques and got all your equipment at the end, especially as far as if you're looking at doing 50 to 100 shirts and a big bulk order shirts like that, screen printing is going to be your most cost-effective way to produce a t-shirt. But again, as I said, it's going to be a little tedious in the beginning. A lot of equipment that you need to buy. So just go to YouTube or some places in internet, Google, and there's several tutorials on how to get into the screen printing. Next thing you can look into are heat transfers. Only equipment you'll need really for heat transfer is a heat press, and you can find a heat press anywhere online, used or new. You could buy a new one for maybe $200 or $300. You can find a used one for about $100. So you can look on eBay or Let Go of Facebook Marketplace. You can find those pretty frequently anywhere. Heat press, all it is a big heat press, and literally a heat press. And what you would do, you would send your image to a company. There's several companies out there, so just search Google heat transfers, and you send your image to these companies, and they will take your image and they'll put it on sort of like a big sheet of paper, and all you do, they'll ship those back to you, and you take that one transfer and you place it on your t-shirt, and you use the heat press to sort of adhese it onto the shirt. That's going to be the quickest, and if you're beginning, you want to get into it like right now, that's going to be the best and quickest way you can get into it with good results, because the company that does the heat transfer, they're really doing all the work. Whereas screen printing, you're gonna mess up shirts. It's a little more to it than just 1, 2, 3 steps and you're done. So with heat transfers, literally, you put the t-shirt on the heat press, you put your heat press over the t-shirt, you bring the press level down, and 8 seconds later, you've got a t-shirt. So look into that. And the main reason I got into doing T-shirts is because kids losing shirts. You know, if you order them from a big company, you order big orders, and you know sometimes when you call back and you want to just order 5 to 10 shirts, you know they'll charge you extra. But with this way, you have the means of making your T-shirt right in your house or right in your band room, so you can always have a shirt ready. Then also with that, once you make your band T-shirts, that you can use them as fundraisers. You can sell them to your alumni. You can sell them to other students in the school. You can sell them, just use it as another way to generate money for your program. And really, it's the profit margin is fantastic. Using the heat press, you can find a plain white T-shirt for maybe $1.50. And one heat transfer, depending on if you get one color or a full color, depends on the price. So you can research that. With just one color heat transfer, is probably maybe 20 cents. And so you've got $1.70 into one shirt, and you turn around and sell that for $10. Look at the profit you've made off of that. And so you set your goal, sell 10, 50, 100 shirts, something you've done really well profit margin wise. So if you're looking for ways to people always love T-shirts. You can always quick sell. That's always something you have, especially for your kids that lose them or they get bleached or get a stain or something on them. It's always easy to write into it. You can press them up right in your office or at home. Give your booster club something way to do all of that. So look into producing T-shirts for your program. That will save you money. And also, not only save you money, but give you a way to generate money. All right, that's it. Peace.